Welcome back to the Rise with Anita podcast, or welcome if you're new here. If you're new here, this is a space where ambition meets embodiment, or soul meets strategy, and where we don't just talk about transformation, we learn how to live it. Over the last few weeks, we've been talking about safety, receiving, boundaries, and today I want to take it one layer deeper, because here's something I wish more women understood. You see, you can convince your mind that you're okay. You can tell yourself you've moved on. You can read the books, listen to podcasts, go to therapy, journal, and genuinely believe that you've done what it takes to heal. But your body will always tell you the truth. And it doesn't lie. So if you are still bracing for impact, you're not broken, but you are in survival mode. And the beautiful thing about recognizing survival isn't so that we judge ourselves. It's actually so we stop asking, what's wrong with me? And start asking, what is my body still trying to protect me from? Because survival doesn't always look like panic attacks or anxiety. It can look like productivity. It can look like being independent. It can look like being the woman that everyone counts on and relies on. Because sometimes survival looks like success. It looks like independence. So, before we dive in, you know I like to arrive together. So if you're able to do so and you're not driving, please place your feet on the ground, anchor into your body, relax your shoulders and jaw. And we're going to take a slow inhale through the nose for 4. Hold for 4. And release through the mouth for 6. One more time, we're going to take a deep inhale through the nose. Hold for 4. And release through the mouth for 6. Now simply ask yourself, where is my body feeling like I'm waiting for something to go wrong? And we just want to create an awareness. Notice, don't judge. And from that place, we begin. You see, one of the biggest misconceptions about healing is that we think once we understand our pattern, the pattern just disappears. Don't we wish? But awareness doesn't always equal the embodiment that we need. And sometimes your mind understands something before your nervous system actually believes it and sees it as truth. And that's why your body can still be responding and acting like today's safety is still responding to yesterday's danger. Your body isn't living in the present or in the future. It's living in the past. It's responding from the memory. I like to say the body keeps the score, like the book, and oftentimes the body has receipts. It remembers every moment that it had to become hyper-independent. Every time you've had to feel or you felt like you had to earn love. Every time that you've believed being perfect meant being safe. Every season it had to carry more than you should have taken on. It remembers all that and it stacks. Your mind may have forgotten, but the body is still responding to that. So what does survival actually look like? There's different signs. So I want you to pay attention to what's actually more prevalent for you. 1, you can't really relax. And it's not that you have a busy schedule. Sometimes it's just that stillness, taking a moment to rest, feels uncomfortable. Because if you take the chance to sit down or go on a walk or take a nap, within seconds you begin reaching for your phone. You begin looking at what emails you can read, trying to start another task because you're looking for productivity. You're looking for something to fix. Because staying in movement, staying in action feels safer than resting. Number 2, you're always preparing for the worst case scenario or for something to go wrong. Something good in your life is happening, you get good news, and instead of celebrating, your mind starts asking, what's the catch? Or what is the next ball that's going to drop? You're already anticipating something going wrong. And it's because you're struggling to trust peace, to trust joy, to trust alignment happening. And it's not that you don't want those things. You do. Those are usually what you're praying for. But because there's a part of you that believes that peace usually comes before you have to deal with more chaos, before there's another storm to fix. Number 3, we have a difficult time receiving. A couple of episodes ago was on this very topic. And it can look like, as a reminder, someone offering you help and you want to go, I've got it, thank you. Or someone offers to open a door for you. I know I'm guilty of this one, where you go, no thanks, I got it. Someone offers to help you carry something and you literally go, I'm okay, thank you. These are subtle ways we block our receiving muscle. Someone offers to pay for dinner and you're already thinking, no, I'll take care of it, or I'll go ahead and pick up the next tab. You're keeping score. And these moments seem insignificant, but stacked together, they're actually showing that your nervous system is really uncomfortable with allowing yourself to receive because it doesn't feel like it's safe. And if you think about it, sometimes our response of I've got it isn't actually confidence or that we actually want to do it. It's protection. It's how we feel safest by doing what we need to do. And this has been something I've had to really work on flexing this year, personally, because I am a natural giver and I also really struggled to even accept a compliment. And one thing that really helped shift this perspective in me was I had a lovely coach who asked, if you can't receive a compliment, how do you expect to receive $1 million in your business? And I remember going, well, I can earn the $1 million in my business, but a compliment, oh, that's just given. And it made me really realize my relationship with receiving was not sustainable. I was constantly looking, how can I give? How can I give? How can I give? But when someone wanted to do something for me, my brain would go, what's the catch? What do they expect back? And that's when I realized I had a safety issue. I was trying to protect myself because allowing myself to receive usually also meant in the past that it would show up in my relationships as a receipt later. And I had to navigate changing that relationship with receiving and it's still something I'm working on. Sign 4, you over-explain the boundaries. Instead of saying, no, I can't, or no, I don't want to, you write a paragraph. You explain your intention as to why you can't do it. You justify. You even apologize because you want to make sure everyone understands why it is you can't do it instead of just owning the boundary in its first place. And it's not that the boundary is wrong. It comes down to your body trying to avoid rejection. It's trying to feel like it's almost safer to go with not meeting your own boundary than to actually claiming the boundary and putting it in place. 5, you struggle to celebrate. You hit your goals, it might be your birthday, and you immediately move to what's next. If you think about when we launch our businesses, you're already starting to think about your next launch, your next project. And you've technically minimized the current moment. You cannot be present with the success that you're already having ahead of you because you're already thinking about what's next. Because that's another signal survival has. You're not allowing yourself to pause long enough to just enjoy the moment. Now, that doesn't mean you just stay in this limbo area. That's not what I'm saying at all. But you do need to create a pause of actually taking it in. Hey, I did something. I'm really proud of that. Maybe you treat yourself if you feel called. Or maybe you simply acknowledge, wow, I hit this milestone. And allow that to be enough. So, 6, you carry tension you don't even notice anymore. And this one is where we become very physical because you don't even notice that your shoulders are tight. Your jaw is constantly clenched. You tend to hold your breath without even realizing it. Your stomach is in contraction because our body gets used to it. And that tension eventually does feel normal to us until something maybe allows us to relax or allows us to not feel that way. Then you are finally not realizing that's when usually you will notice, hey, something feels different in my body. 7, rest makes you feel guilty. And I know I've been guilty of this one myself. You finally have an afternoon free, or maybe you've not scheduled yourself. And instead of enjoying it, you end up wondering what should you do so that you can stay productive. Because you're still connecting your worth to your productivity. And it's interesting because when we think about rest and restoration, we forget that we need these moments of white space to actually slow down, to feel comfortable. Yet we tend to guilt ourselves for actually taking the time that we need. And honestly, the best productivity hack is to allow yourself to have that white space, because that's where the ideas flow from. That's where creativity comes from. And that's where you actually get to reconnect and realign with your own self. And lastly, number 8, you feel responsible for everyone's emotions. You get someone upset or someone in the household is upset, and you immediately want to fix it. I know I am so guilty of this one because anytime something might be off with my mom, for example, I go, "Hey, what's wrong? Can I hold space for you?" I don't let her sit in the emotion. My first instinct is to try to help rather than to just let her have her own experience. Or if someone's disappointed, you become the person who's questioning, well, what could I do better? How can I make it right? And so you're taking charge of other people's emotional experiences, yet you're not focused on your own. And here's the reframe I want for you guys to think about is the only person you can control is the one that you are. You're the only person that you can control. You can only control your experience. You can only control your thoughts and your feelings. So instead of putting the responsibility on you to take care of someone else's feelings and emotions, I encourage you to start really recognizing, hey, I'm in charge of me. I can love you. I can be there for you, but your feelings and how you process them is your responsibility. Now, if you found yourself constantly nodding or going, oh, she is talking to me right now, I want you to hear me. None of this means that there's something wrong with you. Doesn't mean that you failed. It doesn't mean that you've failed on your healing journey. It actually simply reveals that your body has practiced the fact that you're in survival mode. And we have these moments. I know I've gone through waves this year where I have been in and out of survival myself. But we have to remember our nervous systems are doing exactly what it's trained to do. Sometimes the strategy that once protected us starts preventing us from receiving everything we've prayed for. The love, the peace, the protection, the abundance, the support, the joy, because we are waiting for it to all disappear at any time. And notice I said protection because part of safety is the feeling of protection. And whether that's protected in the actual physical sense of you have what you need to do to feel protected. Some cases it might be a man. Some cases it might be having knowledge of martial arts or something like that. But you have to keep in mind that you need to be aligned with what it is that's right for you. So this week, I don't want you asking yourself, how do I fix myself? Instead, I want you to go ahead and pause. And I will reemphasize this pause constantly. Get reconnected. Maybe place a hand on your belly or your heart. And just take a slow breath. I love to start the episodes with a breath intentionally because one thing that helps me if I'm overwhelmed, if I'm tired, if I need to have a hard conversation is just taking a deep breath. You know, a few weeks ago when my grandfather was in the hospital still, I had a few moments where I would just have to come back to the breath. Whether that was a difficult conversation with a doctor or even anxiety, I had to come back to the breath. And that's what actually helps. So every time you're feeling something this week, I want you to come back to the breath and just take a slow breath and ask yourself, what is my body trying to protect me from right now? Notice we're not asking what's wrong with me, but what am I protecting? And don't rush to answer that question. Just see what comes through. Because that question creates a comparison instead of criticism. And who are you comparing yourselves to? In this case, you're comparing yourself to yourself and to the version of you that has compassion for you. And the compassion and the grace that we give ourselves is what allows the nervous system to finally relax. So if you take nothing else away from today's episode, let it be this. The body doesn't lie. So if you are still bracing for impact, waiting for something to go wrong, if you're finding it difficult to receive, if you're carrying tension or tightness that you don't have explanation for, you're in survival mode. But survival doesn't have to become your entire identity. It's just been your strategy for a while because your body created it to protect you. So healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about showing your body through small, consistent moments that the danger has passed. Whether that's one breath at a time, a boundary at a time, a moment of receiving, a moment of self-trust, a moment of consistency. If this episode resonated with you, send it to someone who always says, "I'm fine, I've got this," while quietly carrying the weight of the world. And if you would like to share it to your Instagram stories and tag me, I would so appreciate it. Or if you just want to connect, I always love hearing what resonated for you. And until the next episode, keep choosing the woman you're becoming. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.